Welcome back to 4 Geeks by Geeks, the place where geeks come to geek out, and this is your next episode of Cloudscape, the TTRPG that we are playing using the Fate Core system. If you don't know about Fate Core, check the links below. It's amazing. We've had a great time. I'm Bozer. Who do we have at the table with us today?
I'm Josh.
I'm Britt.
I'm T.
And this is a crowd we've never had.
Yeah.
New party mix-up.
New party mix-up, and it's still split. Love that for me. I'm going to move your little jars of fate points over here. Remind me, how many fate points, since now we've all leveled up?
I think 4.
Mm-hmm.
You each
I have
could have
4,
4, but
yeah.
then if you took another stunt, then you are back to 3.
Yeah.
I know Waylon took another stunt.
I
Kit-
changed a stunt. I didn't add a new one.
Kit, did you take another stunt?
No,
Okay.
I don't. No, I didn't.
Okay. So you're up to 4. So you're all up to 4. Okay. We're going to move Al out of the way. Theo, Kit, and Syrkon. That's what we need. And if this is your first time joining us, welcome. You are in the start of Season 2 of Cloudscape. We've been doing this for a little while now, having a great time. You can always look back at previous episodes on YouTube or listen back on podcasts. And check out... Sorry, T, I'm trying to read your DMs.
Oh, you didn't need to do that right this moment.
Are they filthy?
I forgot to
Are they
tell you
just
yesterday,
so
and it
filthy?
just
trying
reminded
to
me
make
because you
break
just
on
said
camera.
I'm like, wait, I can't speak and read at the same time, apparently.
it. Most people can't.
Well, teleprompter news people
They're
do
not
all the
real
time.
people. They're fake,
The robots.
Fake.
They're AI.
just like pigeons. Anyways, moving on.
But hey, while you're there on YouTube, check out the new RPG project that T and Britt are putting their heads together. It's a collaboration with Let's Get Rollin' and 4 Geeks by Geeks, and they are playing, reviewing, and teaching you how to play indie RPGs throughout the year. So every month there's going to be a new episode. They just dropped
Yeah.
Print Weaver not too long ago. Check it out. It's awesome. Any
This month we're dropping Hellbound Train.
Choo
In preparation for spooky season.
Here for it. But guys, are you ready to jump into the episode?
I'm so
Oh
excited to
my.
get back.
I mean, last week was our pilot
ready
episode
to go to jail.
Was
Yeah.
last week our pilot episode for season 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is episode 2, season 2. Let's jump into today's episode of Cloudscape. Last time on Cloudscape, tensions rose and were quite heated across all of Aurora as the world woke up and realized that not only was a Gold family member murdered, but also something might have gone down with Ren Jebsen, the arch luminary of engineering. Details to come.
Gasp.
And Tabitha stormed in. He just had a heated argument with Theo as he has a shit-eating grin on his face. She drew a line in the sand, said you've gone too far, and was prepared to leave until Theo told her to wait a minute, and she put herself in the locked closet, secret room there at your space. Meanwhile, over in the Knights of Axiom headquarters, this just threw an entire big wrench in all of their workings, and Syrkon capitalized on that and learned a few extra tricks of the Knights of Axiom, their way in and out of spaces with a little secret scientific method that Bobble has developed. Kit went in for some breakfast and accidentally awakened the memory of her father. So that reunion.
Reunition.
From here on out.
Reunition
Reunition happened. in a very emotional moment. But shortly after that, Syrkon's like, "Oh, he's up. Great. Let me hit him with some questions." And now Kit hates Syrkon because he's a dick.
Yeah.
But you explored new spaces. You found where Tobias had been working. You saw this vehicle of some sort being worked on in the workshop, and that's basically where you guys put a pin in that debate. But back over at Theo's, shit hit the fan as there was an assassination attempt by a few members of Sigurd's Reach by way of the Gold family on Theo. It was foiled, and Theo put an end to that real quick with a bullet to the head of one of the assassins, which happened to be Glass, Alsvid's friend from Sigurd's Reach. To avoid the heat, Wayland took off and checked in on our friend Liana using the tracker, located her dorm room, and caught her just as she was escaping the grounds. Escaping might not be the right word, but being picked up by a familiar car of Tabitha, who had fled the scene. And Theo called in for help right at the end. They showed up a little bit too late as the light guard was coming storming in, and he took note of who his true OGs are, and the rest scattered as he was left alone as a light guard coming onto the scene. And that's where we're going to pick up today's episode. So Theo, your house is a little bit broken.
A little bit.
You got some dead bodies meters away.
Yep.
That's for you, Wayland. And the light guard are on their way. You can hear the sirens getting closer and closer. What would you like to do?
Theo is going to disassemble the weapon and then just lay out all the pieces next to him. And he's just going to sit on the sidewalk and wait.
Disassemble the gun that you used?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The light guard are now coming from like both ends of your street. You see them whip around the corners, and the lights are blaring, the sirens are blaring, and they roll up. Several light guard get out. You're surrounded by like 3 different cars and 6 different light guard individuals. And they pull out their stun guns and say, hands up, let's see them.
Yeah, Theo doesn't put his hands up. He just sits there.
And one officer is kind of circling around the back of you as others have their guns pointed at you. Sir, we need to see your hands.
You see my hands.
Hands on the ground. Head down.
Unlikely. I need an EMT.
And 2 others kind of go into the house as they've got you within their sight. You hear from inside, we've got bodies. And around the corner, another ambulance from the hospital comes circling around.
Can I roll connection to see if I know who the captain's name is?
The captain. Oh, of any of these, yeah. Go ahead and roll connection. See if you recognize any of these light guard. I don't know that the captain is here.
That's a 7.
Shit! Stop it.
Oh, even if he's not here, that's who Theo will be speaking with.
Well, you know the commander. He was just on the commander of the light guard.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Whoever would be.
Oren? Yeah, Oren, yeah. You just saw him on the news.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm speaking to Oren and nobody else. So you either get him here or I go meet him at his office.
And the EMTs like rush in and grab the bodies and search the place for the rest of the light guard. And at that point, you feel 2 light guard like come up on behind you and like put a gun to the back of your head while they
Am I still bleeding?
Huh?
Am I still bleeding?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, I was just curious if they were going to be piece of shit cops.
A little bit.
ACAB.
Because you aren't following their directions at this point.
Bitch, I got shot. Fuck them.
So they handcuff you
And you said one of them has a gun to the back of my head?
Yeah.
Don't worry. I got your name and badge number. We're going to be dealing with this either inside a court or outside a court. I'll leave that one up to you.
And they lift you and put you in the back. They sit you on the back of the EMT ambulance while you're handcuffed. And one of the EMTs like looks at your arm and sees that it was grazed by a bullet. Nothing penetrated all the way through, right? I remember it got grazed.
I can't. I just remember I got shot. I didn't remember the severity of it or not.
Yeah, you were able to. Wait.
I mean, it's half of my physical stress. I feel like it'd be more than a graze.
I think you took it to the shoulder. I think you took it to the shoulder.
Yeah, that makes sense
through
to
a
me.
window.
Yeah, no, I feel like I'm not expecting Theo to fucking get out of this unscathed. Like, through a window, I expected the bullet to the shoulder, so.
So right there with your hands cuffed, one of the techs said, like, this would be a lot easier if you weren't handcuffed. The light guard, shut up and take it out.
It's almost like you should be better at your job.
And then you hear this is gonna hurt, and using some device that's not just pincers like they might normally use today, but at this point it's a little more technically advanced, and it kind of circles around the area, and you feel a pressure and a pinch, and then all of a sudden a relief. And this, like, while it's kind of suctioned around that area, it fills with a light purplish gas, and then all of a sudden it feels a lot better.
And what was your name?
The EMT?
The EMT, yeah.
Names are hard today.
Trevor Sandwich.
Trevor Sandwich. It's Sandwich. Trevor Sandwich.
Are you a cookie or a brownie guy?
I mean, I like any sweet as long as it's kind of warm.
All right, I'll send some over to the station later today.
Oh, okay. Just doing my job. He's all set. And they lift you up and put you in the back of a light guard vehicle.
Theo needs to know the name and badge number of the piece of shit that, one, disregarded an injured individual, and two, the one that put a gun to the back of his head.
Twist, Kyle Sandwich.
The one that put, I mean, there was two of them. So one put the gun to your back of your head was Hardy. Roll perception to see if you caught the badge number, because it's a lot smaller on the badge.
That's a 3.
You weren't able to catch all the numbers. You just know it ended in a 6.
Okay.
But you know it's Hardy and Lau. But you didn't quite catch all the badge numbers.
Theo is about to ruin some careers.
I'm writing
Take
shitty
note.
police officer.
Don't get on Theo's bad side.
Shitty cops. So you're in the squad car, and it's now headed toward the Citadel.
Great place for Theo to be. Lots of connections.
Right, yeah.
Lots of names you're about to have
It's
come up
he
with.
walks into the Citadel and it's like Cheers. Everyone walks in. Yeah.
Hey!
But it's everybody on the ground floor, and then everybody above that is like, Theo.
Oh, shit. Was he on your calendar? No, why was he here?
So you are taken in through, as you head towards the Citadel. It's towards the Prism District at the center of the city.
Question.
Yeah.
Did news show up?
No, not. It happened quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, a little too quick for the news to show up. But you're taken towards the Citadel, and at this point, it's the center of the city, and you see the buildings get a little taller. You even drive past where the Shining Seat or the seat of the shining sun. We're doing great, kids. And you can look out your window and you see this large, towering castle that almost just crests the sun in perfect alignment as you're driving past towards the Citadel. And you drive through these large concrete kind of surrounding walls around the Citadel and hook around to the right and kind of hook down a tunnel area where they would bring in some fresh meat, essentially. They're not taking you through the front door. They would bring you through the back. They open the door and gesture for you to get out. Let's go.
Are you new here?
Let's go.
So that's a yes. You have no idea who I am.
Lau, you want to take this one? And Lau, Hardy just kind of walks off and starts talking to another light guard that's standing there, and Lau reaches in, grabs your arm.
For you. You know who I am?
Fuck yes, I know who you are. Let's go.
Very interesting way for you to conduct yourself.
It's interesting the choices that you've made in the last 24 hours.
Your boy here usually put injured individuals with disassembled weapons, guns to the back of their head.
You weren't following directions. That's protocol.
Oh, you want to talk about protocol here? Because I know for a fact neither one of you operated based off protocol.
Let's
neither
go.
Neither one of you seized the weapon. Neither one of you went with non-lethal means. You instead pulled lethal means. So yes, let's please talk protocol. And Theo's doing this while talking, or while walking.
Okay. Sir, if we're talking non-lethal means, all of our guns are set to non-lethal at all times. We have
to the
live
back of
guns.
a head, though, not how that works.
I'm done talking.
You should be, because you're gonna have fun explaining yourself in court.
And you walk in through a back door.
But that is on the record, by the way, so we will be using that against you in the court of law.
It is on the record.
You walk in through the back door and taken through some hallways, and eventually find yourself in kind of a panel of rooms. So you can tell they're probably in interrogation rooms, or that's not the right word. What's it called when you just sit down and talk to a cop? I don't like the word
rooms.
That sounds
interrogation
so
room.
negative.
Yeah. An interview room.
There you go. Interview
I think you're just putting a slightly better word on.
That's why I just called my place the room.
Syrkon doesn't interrogate; he interviews.
Yeah.
I think that makes it worse.
I call it my soft room.
I don't like that.
You haven't seen the hard room yet.
You wouldn't.
And you are brought into a room there's a single table with a chair. And you enter in through one door, and you see across the way there's another door. And they sit you down. Wait here. And exit the room and shut the door.
Theo is just going to sit back, feet up on the table, grinning.
At this point, your cuffs have been removed.
Okay. Theo would like to take notes of where the cameras are located in the room, though.
You don't see any.
Interesting.
Is there a two-way mirror? Not in the room, but
there's a large window that you would assume is a two-way mirror. Oh, it's a
Theo
mirror.
doesn't give a shit. Theo is sitting back, feet up on the table.
You sit there for a good 15, 20 minutes. And eventually, the door across the way, not the one that you entered, but the door across the way opens. And a light guard officer opens up. Not one that you've seen yet. And kind of holds the door open. And then Commander Orin enters. Mr. Maxwell?
The man of the hour.
I believe that would be you.
Nah, not quite. But let's have a conversation about the circles you are running in as of late.
And he nods to the light guard officer who closes the door behind them, and you're left alone. And he pulls a chair from the other side of the table.
Theo will put his foot down now. I don't think Theo has beef with this individual as of this moment.
Mr. Maxwell, would you like to explain what happened on your premises?
Yeah, as soon as you explain the connection that you have with the individual that orchestrated this.
I'm here to do my job, which is investigate a disturbance, and a disturbance that ended in dead bodies on your property.
Disturbance is what we're calling an assassination attempt?
We will do our due diligence in investigating all of the evidence. Right now, I just need to hear what happened from you.
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, I am filing a civil complaint against your boys Hardy and Lowe for police misconduct. So want to make sure we got that on the record here real quick so that didn't get brushed under the rug.
Everything you say here is on the record.
Fantastic. Let's do this. And Theo's going to slap his hands on the table and cross them.
And he kind of like jerks up a little bit. Corrects his mustache. So you say it was
Hold on. Does he have a Sam Elliott mustache? Is it like one of the super thick ones that
Hell
have both
yeah.
lips? Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
That's what I needed to know.
Absolutely. Like almost like the dad from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
What a great
What a
poll.
poll.
That's Commander Orin.
Fantastic.
He has no eyes. It's just eyebrows.
So in your own words, can you explain what happened on your premises this morning?
Yeah, fantastic. I was doing just some research on some cases, speaking with a few of my...
What?
Sky is having a complete coughing fit over here.
Oh.
Her shit.
I was like, is there something in my giant mustache?
Sorry, Sky is just in the corner of my eye being a distraction.
I mean, if she was in the room with me too, she would be a distraction. So
I'm just saying, titties out and everything.
See, that's a perk of virtual TTRPGs you just don't get. You don't get around the table.
I mean, you could. That's just a very different
we could.
table.
Script D&D, let's go.
Listen, I think we're now figuring out some Patreon and OnlyFans content.
Yeah. Would you like to explain what happened?
Yeah, it was started my day like I normally do, working on some cases, working with some of my coworkers when my Max's was filled with a gas. Two individuals opened fire. I returned fire, and I came out alive.
Do you have anybody that can corroborate your testimony?
At the moment, yes. Where is he? That's your guys' job.
Name, please.
Nope, not how this works.
If you can't give us a name, then we can't find this person that you'd like us to corroborate your story.
Maxis has cameras.
So we'd like to have access to that footage.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll get that over to you.
Thank you. How's the arm?
That's fine, but that's a great segue into the lawsuit that we'll be opening up against, I believe, specifically Hardy. Lau could use some work, but he's not the problem here. Hardy, that boy's a problem.
According to the report that I was given, you were not following instructions, so our men did what they were trained to do.
You know, most of the time when people have a bullet to the shoulder, they really can't move that arm too well to give them the option to move their hands as needed, huh? So your boy thought it was acceptable to put a non-lethal weapon to the base of my head, in the assumption that if I did something, he would be pulling the trigger still providing a non-lethal means, but if you want to break down subsection 8 of 4C, that's no longer a non-lethal weapon and goes directly against protocol. And on top of which, your boys decided that I was a threat and completely ignored the disassemble weapon, and I'm not even confident they were smart enough to back that as evidence.
Everything on the scene was reported as protocol would state. And he stands up. Mr. Maxwell, if you wouldn't mind waiting a moment. Can I get you
all
anything?
the time in the world? Coffee would be fantastic. But I still have questions for you when you get back.
And he kind of doesn't show any sign of hearing you or responding, and he exits the door and leaves you alone. Let's sweep over back to the Knights of Axiom hub, where Kit, who just stormed out of the room? Which one of you?
I left.
Yes.
Yeah.
I left, but I stormed after him to yell some words at him.
Yes.
But
She
then I
chased
walked
me
back
down.
in and slammed the door.
Yeah.
All right.
And then I went back to our room.
It's no
All right.
longer my.
No longer our room.
So, Syrkon, you went back to that room. What are you doing?
I am collecting my things. I pull out a sheet of paper and find something to write with, and I scrawl a note and put Kit's name on it real quick, and I just fold it and I set it on there for Kit to find when she gets back. And then I head towards the exit to presumably whoever has my things that were taken from me. There's nothing else for me to do here.
So as you're headed back towards where you came in through the refrigerator, you're headed that way, and Vox catches you. I'm like, whoa. Sorry, we can't have you just go that way. I don't think it's a good look right now. Can I help you get out a different way?
Would it be one of the ways that Bubble showed me?
Yeah, they're all kind of connected that way.
Wonderful. I'll need my things.
So you understand that since Mom put me in charge, right? So I'm asking, this has to remain secret. You understand, Syrkon?
Vox, do you trust me?
Well, I had kind of a roller coaster of a day with you yesterday, so, I want to. My heart says yes, but the slices on my arms kind of say differently.
Those were consequences of your actions. But
Kind of blame the victim, kind of. Okay.
I will keep this secret. I trust you, Vox.
And at this point, he kind of stands a little taller and looks you dead in the eye. I'm trusting you. If you break that trust, we'll do what we need to.
Believe me, I know.
And he gestures towards somebody else and points at you. And they go around the corner to another room and have a small box, which most of the things that you were given, were already given back to you. Except for any weapons.
Yeah.
So, did you didn't have any weapons previously? Did you?
They had,
the
they
knife.
had my scalpel.
So really, they bring a box in. They're like, this?
I couldn't remember. Did they take my gloves, or I can't remember if we.
No, because they didn't realize.
That's right. They didn't realize them. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's just slightly dried, bloody scalpel in this box.
Syrkon takes it, and he flips it, and then he hands it to Vox. A memento of the man you now stand to become.
And he gingerly takes it. Thank you. And then he stops and he looks you in the eye. Thank you.
For light and love.
Yeah. For light and love, man.
Syrkon gives him like the same laugh back. Yeah.
Shield, can you take him out? What part of town you aiming for?
I believe I need to get to Prism Square.
Oh, all right. Yeah, she will help you out.
Too kind.
Hey, where's your friend?
Preoccupied.
She's
And-
not leaving?
She'll do what she will. She's made her decisions. I must respect that.
All right. Cool. And so he kind of gives you a nod, and Sheil is a smaller individual, younger, but with some little fire in her eyes. Long, dark hair. And she's like, this way. We'll jump in a cart. And takes you around the corner down a hallway, and there's parked to the side of one of the hallways is almost a small golf cart with a pink underglow.
Nice.
You said Prism District, so that's where you're going?
Please.
All right. So she hops in, gestures for you to hop in, and takes off down this long tunnel. And along the way on these walls, you can see like these illuminated signs, almost illuminated with that same greenish hue that Bobble showed you how it works with making the symbol to open up the doors. And it's got different street names and district names. And eventually, after probably 20, 30 minutes of driving around, she eventually slows up and stops towards a set of stairs that juts off towards one of the walls. That should take you pretty much downtown.
Thank you so much.
And she gives you maybe an untrusting look, and just like slowly nods, like up downs you real quick. Just up those stairs.
Thank you. I
And she
assume
doesn't
we'll
move
meet again.
until, and gives you that slow nod. And she's not moving until like you go all the way up the stairs.
All right, yeah. I go all the way up. I exit.
So just like on your way down was maybe like 4 flights of stairs. It's again, you're walking up 4 flights. And you go through a door, this big iron door, and it opens up in an alleyway in the Prism District. Strangely enough, you actually roll perception.
Oh, that's pretty solid, actually. That is... What's my perception? +2, so 5.
Nice, so that's a superb on the scale. Strangely enough, you exit this alleyway, and you're looking around, and it looks familiar. You look to the left, and you see this where it kind of angles and turns towards the right, and you look out towards the right, and it's opening towards the street, and directly across, you can see the Institute of Progress.
Oh, that's where Liana was headed back to.
And this is the very point where all of you first met.
That's terrific. I love that.
And if you turn around and you close the door, you see just real faint, like almost in the bricks, this like faint eye kind of glow and then fade away. Where if you look really closely, you can see this really faint, non-illuminated greenish hue of the eye, but you got to know it's there and know where to look.
Remind me, it was what they used to like highlight it was like a powder?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a
Yeah.
green powder.
Yeah. Syrkon watches it kind of like fade away to the point like when he knows he'd no longer see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I should have asked for some of that powder. That's on me. And Syrkon starts walking home.
Okay. As you're walking home, Kit, you're in the room with Tobias. You just entered in and slammed the door. Is everything okay, Kit?
It will be.
So what do you want to do?
The real question is, what do you want to do?
I want to make sure you're safe. Number one. I'd love some more answers.
Wouldn't we all?
I kind of feel like I need to stay here, but also I feel like answers are out there.
Well, are there questions that you think maybe I can answer? I'll try to fill you in
And he like sits on the bed. You mentioned a Nan earlier?
Nan, your mom, my grandmother, yes.
Foggy on the name.
Yeah. Carol.
I'm doing a roll for him. And you see for just a moment, his eyes kind of light and then fade. Okay. I realize this is going to be a process.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's just stop dancing around it. Hit me with the facts that I need to know right now.
And Kit's gonna sit for a second and kind of think in her head what she actually needs to say. All right. So, last 24 hours, 38 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours.
Time's a
I don't
weird
really
soup.
remember. I don't really remember how long it's been, but you've met Syrkon, unfortunately. So Nan and I went to the Centennial and met up with, by chance, these... How do I say this kindly? Individuals. I'm just going to call them individuals. Some of them I love, some of them I loathe.
These are your friends.
Let's use that term very lightly.
Best friends.
Let's use the word friends very lightly. Partners in crime, I don't know. So we accidentally met in an alley. Brought together by a terrorist. Well, she's not really a terrorist. You know her. Maybe you know her? Leona? She's Vox's friend.
I hear Vox has a lot of friends. And
Fucking whore.
I hear that a lot of the work happens here in this space, but this isn't the only place or the only individuals at work, so I don't know.
I thought you might know her, but so yeah, we met via her, and Syrkon has been searching for you.
That
That's
I
what
gathered.
this has all come back to. And they thought that I was the connection to you. So for the last 72 hours, we've kind of been on this wild goose chase of information trying to find you. Because, hearsay.
Because of what I did?
They said you did something, but Dad, I don't, did you do something?
And he kind of sits deeper in the bed and looks up.
Did you do something, or did Leonold do something? Or did you both do something?
I did what I felt was the best option. These people, I may not fully understand what's going on, but they're good people. And I really believe what they're doing is for the best. And if I could help in any way, I wanted to help. So yeah, I did something. I got in. I took something.
You? Not you. You did something, not Leonold. Or did you start it and Leonold finished it? She's very confused. Like,
Kit, it's all me. Just there's pieces that I haven't found yet. Leonold is just the name they called me. It's not a split personality. It's all been Toby. And without realizing what I was putting at stake by putting you in harm's way, I guess I made some reckless early decisions, and now all of this is my fault.
I don't think it's necessarily your fault, Dad.
It sounds like you've been put in some real danger lately. That wouldn't have happened if I just didn't leave home.
I think what hurt the most is you didn't communicate with me about it all. I think you kind of just left me in the dark. I still sometimes think that you think I'm still a child, that I wouldn't be able to comprehend stuff. You know,
Kid.
I've been putting back together a freaking engine since I was 7. You would think I would understand other things too.
It's not that I didn't think you'd understand. By the way, once you're my kid, you're always my kid. I don't care how old you are. You will always be my child. But I feel in my gut a pit of shame. I can't quite place why. But I can't help believe that's why I probably kept some things from you. And I want to make it right. I want to go home. I think that's a start.
I'm afraid if you go home, there will be an even bigger target on your back. And also, there might not be much to come home to. The last time I was at the shop, someone had ransacked it and took Nan.
Excuse me?
I told you it's been a crazy
this group
72
ain't ever
hours.
getting back together.
I swear to God.
And he bolts up. My mother has been taken?
Yeah.
And you didn't want to start with this information, kid.
You didn't even know who she was, and now you're like, oh, my mother. Oh. How do you think I felt about this all? First of all, you disappeared, and now they took the only other human in this world that I care so deeply about and took her too. I know I'm joking about all of this. Dark humor. Got it from you, Daddy-O. They took her because of you.
And he grabs a bag and he starts just shoving things in it.
Dad.
We have to go. We have to go. I can't sit here and let more of my family slip through my fingers.
She puts her hand on her dad's shoulders. If we don't sit and think this through, none of us are going to be alive. Because they know who you are. They somehow know who I am, probably thanks to Syrkon. And I don't want more shit to hit the fan. Because they know who I am. They have pictures of me, and they were going to use those as leverage to get to you. So they know who we all are. There's no not one of us being a target. So if you go out there, guns blazing, we might lose you too. And I just got you back.
There's gotta be something we can do. You mentioned people that you met that you said you love. Can they help?
At this point, I'm pretty sure that's where Syrkon is headed too. But I mean, maybe I know somewhere we can go. It's but safer than the shop.
Joke's on you.
I'm not metagaming here.
I love this idea, though.
We might need a lawyer anyway. Let's go see Theo.
Theo? Who's Theo?
He's a lawyer. I think out of all of them, he's the one I trust the most. All right. There's back ways out of here. I think we can get out of closest to there without actually.
We got back ways, front ways, sideways.
My favorite ways.
We're gonna need some things.
All right.
And he keeps putting some things in a bag. He grabs a couple of these schematics, drawings that he was working on. In one of the drones that he was working on, he looks around and he finds a hammer, and well, sorry about this. And he bashes it a couple times, and knocks a piece loose. This might come in handy. And puts that in a bag. There's something we're gonna need. Come with me. And he takes you out of the room, leads you out of the room, and back towards kind of that war room where everyone had a big table. And and he enters the doorway, and everyone's hustling and bustling. But as soon as they kind of see you both, they take a pause and kind of stop what they're doing. I just wanted to say thank you for all that you guys have done for me. I have to make some things right. And I don't want any of you to stop me.
Someone sounding like a martyr.
I need some dust. And Bobbled, now back at work at her station, perks up with her big bottle glasses. You want my dust?
Phrasing. I don't know how, but phrasing.
Yeah. And she pulls like a small pouch and tosses it across. Take care of it. Use it well. And he catches it and opens it up, and inside you can see the small green dust, and cinches it tight and throws it in the bag as well. By the way, if you haven't heard, this is my daughter. So I had a kid. Some people are like, hi. Other people are like, hi, kid. We're taking a cart. We're leaving. And he backs out and takes you towards a cart.
Kit needs to empty the room first, because she kind of she's got to get a wrench and stuff before she leaves.
Sure.
And Nan has always taught her to leave the room better than when you walked in. So she's going to walk in and kind of like clean up, like make the bed and, clean up papers that might have been strewn across the room, and pick up her stuff. And can I roll for perception to see the thing that
Syrkon left for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. 5.
Where'd you leave it, Syrkon?
I left it like on, man, I don't know the decor of this room, but it would be like a nightstand essentially.
Yeah, there was a desk in the corner,
I
a
set it
bed,
on the desk.
All right. So she probably in tidying would have found it laying there.
Do you open it?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. What's it say?
It says, Kit, I was wrong. Trust is earned. Done bun can't be undone. Syrkon Sirocco.
done bun cannot be undone.
Done bun can't be undone. And that has quotes around it.
Done bun can't be.
That's the name of the episode.
Undone.
Okay. Is done spelled D-O-N-E or D-U-N?
Oh, D-O-N-E.
Okay. I didn't know if you were going to try to rhyme with bun.
Oh. Done bun can't be undone.
Okay. She's very confused. This, Can I roll to see if it triggers something? I don't know, like
Sure. Yeah.
maybe she gets that
Circumcision.
It's called a circumcision. It's when I cut off your head.
Oh my god.
He lets you choose which one first.
God. Yeah, roll lore.
Okay. Oh god. I get a +0 on that. 2.
That's a fair. You're thinking through. Done bun can't be undone. Done bun can't be undone. Nothing really triggers, but like the more you think about it, it starts to make a little more sense. Like if you make a bun in the oven, you can't unmake it. So you're just kind of putting
like I've made my bed, now I have to sleep in it kind of reference,
Sure.
maybe, I
Yeah.
guess.
But no, it doesn't trigger any memory for any part of you.
Okay. She's gonna fold it up and put it in her pocket.
You ready, Kit?
No.
Me
But
neither.
we can't hide here.
We can always come back. I know the way.
All right. Okay.
And he leads you towards kind of a bay. Before Syrkon, Sheil had found a cart just kind of sitting on an empty hallway, but he takes you to a bay where there's several carts. And loads one up. And he starts getting in the driver's seat. I have no idea where I'm going. Do you want to drive?
You're at. Now, does this cart go above ground, or is this just in the underground tunnels?
It's the underground tunnels. It's just basically these tunnels are spiderwebbed throughout the entire tower. And if you were to walk, it would just take a very long time. So they use these carts to traverse the city quicker to get to the underground entries.
Okay. Well, your guess is going to be as good as mine.
I'll show you the system that they use. And
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't turn my nose up to driving.
these things rip a little bit. It's kind of a good time.
All right.
We could make some improvements, but they do all right.
I mean, no one's having a racetrack down here. Unless. Just kidding.
That's later. Next time. And he gets out and lets you sit in the driver's seat. We roll drive.
Yeah. Yeah. Goodness. All right. -1.
Ooh.
It cuts to the scene from Austin Powers where he's backing up and walking into the wall sideways, trying to turn.
Jeez.
Yeah, you never did take that parallel parking test, did you? And
I don't like to go forward or backwards, not stay stagnant.
you know what? I'll get us out of this room. I'll get us out there in the tunnels.
Sounds good.
Yeah, maybe better late. Let me drive. Let's see how he drives. Okay, better than you. So he gets you out of the room and he takes you down the tunnels. Where about in the city is this Theo?
Kit would know. I don't know. So.
So you tell him. You tell him. Where is Theo?
Yeah, I was like,
in the
I don't
city
know.
again? T.
The place with the road.
Where?
In the ghetto.
Oh, it
It's
was
in-
on the cusp of the industrial, the Iron Corners, and the Prism District. It's kind of on the outer ring of the Prism District, so that it spans the two districts.
Two world. Yeah.
Two worlds, one family. And so, with some navigating and with your poor drive and his shoddy memory, it takes a little while to eventually find a part of the city where he feels like this is close to where his house might be. You need some above ground perspective to better understand where you're at. And he puts it in park, and there's a few different stairways on either side of the tunnel. It's just up this way, and we'll figure it out from there.
All right.
And so he
Let's go.
leads you up, and he opens the door, and he kind of peeks out a little bit. And this opens up into the back end of a store, actually. Kind of peeks out, and he sees there's a roll of perception for me, Kit.
Five.
So as soon as you open the door, you get this like strong floral sense.
Don Cucci.
And it kind of takes him aback a bit, and he opens up into the space. And as soon as he opens the door, you are met with bouquets of all kinds of flowers and different floral arrangements. And just around the corner, you see a large man with a leather vest arranging a bouquet. And as soon as you open the door, he looks, let's go. And yeah, you would recognize Don Cucci. I don't know if did you speak to Don Cucci? You were sitting next to Theo at the fight, right?
No,
He was
Theo
a- he
had
was
to
a-
move over.
Oh, okay. Right.
was
'Cause
across
Leon's
the
on the other
way.
side. Yeah.
She probably would have seen him in, like, because she was watching,
Mm-hmm.
like, Theo, but she probably would have not physically met him.
Roll lore, just to see how well you remember him and remember how well Theo mentioned he uses Don Cucci for his florals.
Everybody uses Don Cucci's floral.
0.
Oh, well. Do you want to say anything to him, or are you just trying to go? What are you doing?
I'm probably just gonna just walk by him without being, maybe like pretend that I was like, oh, these are so beautiful. And I'm just leaving. Like not saying anything, but like pretending that I'm like looking at stuff and then
Mm-hmm.
out.
Nonchalant. Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no one else in the store at this time, just him.
Maybe you want me to roll something like deceive? Because he probably did not see me physically come in.
You gather by his interaction that if people come through that door, he knows
He's
where they
just
came
supposed
from.
Oh, okay. So that was him that said something.
Yeah.
I thought it was my dad. Okay.
No, he saw you because it's almost like this back door just behind the counter.
Okay.
And
so,
he saw you come through.
So would we assume that he just knows that's what it is?
One might.
Okay. I think I'm gonna nod at him, like knowingly,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe stop at maybe Nan's favorite flower and take a sniff.
And it's just this bright yellow daisy. Because it reminds her of the sun. And whenever she stop and see one, she would just give it a gentle touch for light and love. And just kiss up to Arcturus.
Oh, my poor heart. And I guess Kit's just gonna sigh to herself. Coming for you, Nan. Thank you, sir. And head out the door.
Actually, as you stop at that daisy, Tobias stops and you see a light of familiarity come back to his eyes. Daisies. These are mom's favorite flower. And yeah.
It's taking being on the surface for you to remember. Maybe coming up here was a good thing. I don't think the lights would have turned on if you continued to stay in the dark.
My girl. Good with her hands, good with her words.
Let's go.
So you exit the street, and you would kind of look down the street. You've been down the street a few times now, and you might recognize that Theo's would be really just down the street, because Don Cucci's, you mentioned, isn't too far from Theo's.
Would we see hubbub happening before we get up to the place?
Funny you mention it. Yeah, down the street, you see these lights of light guard vehicles. And there's like this caution tape being strewn about. You're a little down in the distance, so you can't make out any real details, but you can see that something happened down where you might believe Theo's area is.
I think Kit's gonna like stop dead in her tracks and So slight change of plans. That's where we're supposed to be going. And I'm not sure if us being around Light Guard is gonna help our situation at all. Or at least you.
Yeah, I probably want to lay it as low as possible.
Alright.
I hate to say it, but does Syrkon have a safe place?
I don't even know how to get a hold of him.
I have an idea, but it's using someone who's not here.
Oh.
Yeah.
But what if we talked about Wayland having a safe place? What if at that moment she sees like Wayland swinging, like in a direction, is like follow that man?
Yeah, I don't want to make decisions for
Sure.
him after he saw Liana get in the car.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry.
Do you have?
m-
I don't think we
maybe-
ever like exchanged numbers or anything. You have Theo's number.
Yeah, Kit has Theo's number.
She does in a card. But I think Kit would have told her dad to like maybe hide in an alley and
Mhm.
maybe gone over to one of the Light Guard members because she's fine. She doesn't have any issues. And maybe prodded them for information about Theo's whereabouts.
Sure.
Using
Okay.
the guise of that's my lawyer. I need to talk
Nice.
to my lawyer.
Hell yeah.
All right, so you walk down a ways down the street closer to Theo's and have Tobias duck in an alley. And you step up to a light guard. Miss, this area is off limits. I need you to stay back.
This is my lawyer's office. I need to know where he is.
The owner of this property was your lawyer?
Theo. Yes. Theodore Maxwell.
Listen, I think he was taken in. I can't divulge details, obviously, but
I just
He's-
need to
he's
know
not
his
here.
whereabouts.
I checked the station. I checked the Citadel.
No. Check. No, I need to know. It's this
I'm not your secretary, miss. I'm sorry. I know this is probably dire for you, but
secretary wasn't planning on paying you. Unfortunately, I have to pay your salary by paying my taxes. I need to know where this man is. As his goddaughter, I need to know his whereabouts. Can I roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, roll rapport. Or, well, you can roll intimidation, provoke, or charisma rapport. Whichever you feel is best
let's
suited
do
for your
charisma.
aiming.
Let's do charisma.
Okay.
I'm going to invoke Try Me Bitch.
Hell yeah.
Add a +2. So a 6.
She rechanged, or she changed the name of an aspect. What was it before?
Bark is bigger than my, or my bite is bigger than my bark. It's now Try Me Bitch
With a 6?
with a 6.
Ugh. And he looks down at you, and you see him like kind of like fondle this little like necklace
That
he's got
fucking
on.
word.
What's a more appropriate word? I keep saying fondle and I don't like that word either. What's the word I mean?
Caress.
Play with,
Fidget.
like fidget with.
Fidget.
Yeah, fidget.
Yeah, fidget. Fidget's with like a small little locket around his neck. And he pulls out his walkie. Yeah, it's Dirk. Can I get the whereabouts of Mr. Maxwell? And you hear back, he was taken in. I have his goddaughter here on the scene, and she might need an escort. And said, you hear, we'll send someone over. Yeah, listen, we can give you a ride. We'll get you connected. We're not going to keep family from family.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm guessing you're a family man himself.
I take care of my own. Now, kindly, I do need you to step away from these premises.
I'll be over here. Point them over here. I don't want to intrude more on your... And she gestures. I'll stand right over here. Send him down here.
You have a nice day.
You as well.
So you step back over to the alley. What happened?
Well, remember how I told you shit hit the fan?
Yeah,
Well,
looks like it.
apparently someone has diarrhea because there's more stuff going down. Yeah, we're gonna get an escort to where Theo is. But yeah, it's cool.
No, I can't get in a light guard car. I'm kind of a wanted man. How about this? And he like looks around the alley and he finds like a scrap of paper and a pen.
Question.
Yeah.
Does Theo drive?
Theo canonically doesn't know how to drive.
Okay. Does Theo have a car though? Would I have noticed Theo's car in front of or parked anywhere in the vicinity?
Where do you park your car, Theo?
Just on the street. Theo's a man of the people.
All right. Roll perception. It's like a big van that says Maxis.
No, it's just an old school drop top.
3.
Okay. Yeah, you see just outside of the perimeter they've created in front of Theo's, there is, what color is it?
Silver.
Silver drop top. You trying to hotwire a car in front of an active crime scene?
Debating. No, because my burglary is +0. So I'm thinking it would be a little less crafts and a little bit more burglary.
Kid, I know I just got you back, and I'm not gonna let anything take you away from me.
I know, but what
I
are
need
we
you safe. I'm gonna find us a place to lay low. I do know of a coffee shop, and he scrawls it down, with the address. Check in with me here tonight at 10.
Okay.
I know how to stay hidden. Been doing it for a little bit.
She's gonna pass the keys to her motorcycle. to her dad. In case you need transportation. We might not have a car for a while. But we'll talk about that later.
Weren't we? We were working on one.
Water under the bridge. We need to get this taken care of. Think of it as a welcome home project.
Later.
Here's the keys. Yes. Much later. She's gonna take the piece of paper and put it in her pocket, and you better go before they show up to take me.
He grabs your hand and he looks you in the eyes. Don't be late.
When am I ever on time?
Tonight at 10. Please.
Okay. Now
And
go.
he gives you a big squeeze. God, you've grown up.
Kids tend to do that.
And lets you go, and he just like kind of backs away into the alley.
And Kit's gonna patiently wait for her ride.
It doesn't take long. A few minutes later, another squad car rolls up. Someone rolls it down. Are you my pickup? Goddaughter or something?
Yeah, that's me.
All right, get in. Front, by the way.
I hope so.
And they start driving you towards the Citadel.
Okay.
Syrkon, you were headed home.
I am. I'm home now.
Can you say when you're here, your family?
When
Syrkon
you're
voice?
here, your family.
By the way, if y'all haven't found the AI-generated Olive Garden script commercial,
It is really good. It's
y'all
horrifying.
listening, watching, hit pause, Google that real quick, and then read it in Syrkon's voice in your mind. You won't be disappointed.
Oh God.
All right,
Hire me to do
we have
commercials.
never seen Syrkon's home.
No, we have not.
So, briefly describe where in the city you live. What does Syrkon live in?
Syrkon lives in he lives in the Prism District, but where Theo lives on the edge of the Prism District in the Iron Corners, Syrkon lives on the edge of the seat. Like he lives in the upper, like the bougie.
Nice.
Where the architecture, like imagine oh God, what's the pull I'm going for here? Tony Stark's Miami mansion in Iron Man 3. Like that, where it's just the angular, like not like that big, but it's that like angular architecture.
Okay.
Not safe for children.
Not
shape.
safe for
Yeah.
children. Yeah.
Nothing is safe for
My home looks sharp.
Okay.
And he walks inside, and it's very clear that no one like lives here. It's because it's very like the room the old people have that you're not allowed to walk into or sit in the furniture.
Mhm.
It's very stylized, very curated is the vibe.
Mhm.
And it's very what would be considered retro for this area.
Sure.
And he goes into his house, and we talked about his closet earlier, the closet of a bunch of suits, and he goes and he bandages himself up again from his scalpel, takes a shower, is doing all this stuff, like meticulously getting ready, and we see him kind of loading up, like he's getting into his kit and like getting a new set of his regular eye drops from his stuff, and he's pocketing that. He's got like zip ties, like getting restraints. Like he's like getting his boogeyman kit together.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to show you. I actually kind of have a prop that I'm going to use for this.
Oh God.
So we talked about that Al stole the hand cannon from Syrkon's trunk. Well, as we see, Syrkon has a fireplace, and over the fireplace is a spot for 2 guns that are like crossed at the barrels.
Yeah.
One of them is gone. That's the silver one that was in his trunk. The other one is this.
Nice.
Yeah. So this is a 3D printed replica of Roland Deschain's gun from the Dark Tower.
Yeah,
nice.
Twitch. It's a prop.
It's a prop. But we
Breaks in half.
Yeah, breaks snaps. Fuck. Syrkon grabs it and pops it open and unloads it. Unloads all the bullets into his hands, and then he takes one and he thinks back to Kit and the moment he had that insane panic attack and she helped him through it, and he looked up and that memory came into full surface of the woman with red hair with light behind her, and he's holding the gun. And he thinks back to, we see this flashback narratively of Syrkon at like 8 years old. And he's playing with his brothers, Mautix and Jayun, who are both larger than he is. And by playing, I mean they're beating the shit out of him, because that's what the Sirocco boys did for fun. And in this fight, like they're both beating Syrkon up, and he takes a lucky strike, swings out, and he punches Mautix in the nose and breaks his nose, and just this blood comes out. And when his brother sees the blood, his eyes go red, and like the beating turns savage, and they are like, Syrkon is pretty sure he's about to be beaten to death by his brother at this point. And we cut back to Syrkon and now, and he takes the bullet and slides it into the chamber, rolls it up his shoulder, pops it. We cut back to this flashback. And Syrkon suddenly sees light because somebody has thrown his brother off him, and he looks up and he sees this young woman in her 20s, big fiery red hair, wielding a revolver. And she tells the kids to back off, and she does what we just saw Syrkon do. She takes her revolver, she drops all 6 bullets out of it, puts one in, rolls it up her arm, clicks it into place, puts the gun to her head, pulls the trigger, click. Immediately points it to Jayun, click. Points it to Mautix, click. Very fast, they are like you see them breaking into sweat. She pauses, puts the gun to her head, clicks for a 4th time, and then points it at Jayun, who, the middle brother, who cries and runs as fast as his legs will take him. The woman turns to Mautix, who also, like, he tries to stand tough for a second, and he runs off. And so Syrkon is left alone with this woman, and he looks up to her, and he's looking up into the eyes of this woman, who reaches out her hand, and he grabs her hand, and she starts to help him up, and he sees the same silhouette that we saw when he looked at Kit, but it's a young Nan. And as she's holding his hand, she puts the gun to her head and clicks again. And because he's sure he's about to see someone die, he recoils, and then nothing happens. And he opens his hand, the hand that she just held, and there's a bullet in it. And she looked at him and smiled and said, "Fear makes everybody the same size." And so Syrkon, now we see him with the loaded gun, And he stands there and he puts it to his head. And he pulls. Bam, 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 bam. And then looks and then opens his hand to have the bullet there. Loads all the bullets back up. Puts the gun in a holster. And then for the first time turns his phone back on. And sees Theo, did you sent a message? Yeah.
Yes.
What is the message that I see from Theo?
Pulling that favor maxes now.
Syrkon is going to do I have any other messages from other associates?
Yeah. You would see a few from not Kieran himself, but secretary. It's like, check in. Looking for answers, check in. Where the fuck are you? Check in. One from Haven. And it's like the look eye emoji. And a knife. Yeah, and that's all the calls that you get.
Perfect. I try calling Theo. I assume I get nothing.
Theo has his phone.
Oh, all right. Well, I call Theo.
Which plays greatly into the scene that I have set up.
So, Theo, you're still in the holding cell. You've been, or not holding, the interview room. You've been left alone for quite a bit of time at this point.
How much time? It's important for something I'm about to do.
Probably at this point, like an hour.
Okay. So since Theo's arrest, it's been over an hour since.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you.
And your phone rings.
Theo answers. Hello?
Betty.
Oh, Syrkon. I will be meeting you shortly. I'm currently at the Citadel. I need a small favor before then.
What is it?
I'm going to send you some contact information. I need you to give Denton and Torek a call. Have them meet me in front of the Citadel with a vehicle.
Where should I meet you?
I'll meet you at your house. We've got some things to discuss.
I look forward to seeing you soon.
You may want to listen to this. And Theo's just going to set his phone down and put it on speaker.
Nice. So, shortly after that phone call, are you just leaving your phone there
Just open on the table, speaker.
Okay. The door opens once again, and Commander Oren re-enters the room, and this time he's holding some files in his hand, and he's looking. I would say don't leave town, but it's not really how we work around here.
Commander, I'm so glad you're here. And Theo is going to be looking at his wristwatch. Have you read the Civilian Act of the 42nd Soul? I would hope so, being a commander of the Light Guard.
Please do not school me on the book, Mr.
Are you
Maxwell.
sure? Because you completely just missed the fact that this is entirely inadmissible, because my rights have not been read within the last hour. And as of 2 minutes ago, everything that has happened previously and henceforth is no longer admissible in a court of law, which is fantastic, because now you and I can speak candidly about the circles that you have found yourself running in.
And he makes a note. And he starts rattling off your rights.
Oh, you can read them now, but everything that has been said up to this point and after this point will not be admissible, which, again, we can try this again tomorrow. Openly, no problem. But you and I are about to have a conversation off the record here.
As I mentioned before, everything in this room is on the record, and I believe this is my interrogation room, Mr. Maxwell, so I will not be interrogated by you. I don't care who you are or what connections you feel you may have. I am going to do my job, and I'm going to do it damn well the day that I have since I was appointed to this position.
See, the
I
best
need to
part
know.
is if you use any of this recording in any public setting, I will not only remove you from that position, I will make sure you will never carry any position of authority until the day you die. Now, again, let's have a candid conversation off of the record about the circles you find yourself running in. Take a seat. It's going to be a bit.
Roll charisma or intimidation, whatever you are trying to do.
I don't have to use anything here.
7.
Nice.
Oh, shit.
Charisma or intimidate?
Charisma.
Okay.
Charisma. Theo's a likable guy. Come on.
He stands there a moment, locks eyes with you. Turn towards the door. Locks it. Walks over to the two-way mirror and blocks the body in front of you so you can't quite see what's happening, but you see the mirror kind of shift slightly in color. Takes a seat.
All right, Commander. As much as you would probably hate to admit this, we're on the same side. I care nothing more than protecting the people of our fair city. However, as you saw yesterday, the Gold family, the rumors are real, and you're aware of that. So whether you are allowing them to do what they want behind the scenes or you're actively trying to fight against it, we are working on the same goal here. The difference is going to be the allowances that we have at our disposal. So 2 things are going to come from this, and it's going to tell me immediately whether I can trust you or not. 1, you either run to Kieran and tell him that I am on my way to have a meeting with him and we are going to war. This is just a preamble to let you know that 1, the Light Guard needs to be aware that Sigurd's Reach and the Gold family has a green light against them. So this will tell me 1, you're either in Kieran's pocket, or 2, that you actively want to dethrone Kieran, and you and I are on the same page there. But with that being said, Kieran Gold tried to have me killed. I put a bullet in Glass and Kiefer after they tried to not only kill me, but my secretary and one of my associates. I will release that video evidence for you because you do have an active investigation that you must settle, and I will not interrupt that. But with that being said, a war is coming. You can either join me in dethroning this criminal that has been running amok for far too long, or you stand in my way and put more people at risk.
I will not have a war on my streets.
I operate in the shadows, Commander.
And I operate in the light.
Fantastic. So again, you either tell Kieran and to confirm that you are in his pocket, or you and I will operate on 2 different sides of the same coin to rid this world of a ongoing problem. But I have a vehicle waiting for me. I greatly appreciate the time. By tomorrow, I will have that video evidence for you. And if you would like to do this interview again with my rights recorded and on the record, I'll be here happily.
He stands up, goes to the door, unlocks it, and before he opens it, be careful, Mr. Maxwell. There's a price on your head.
Have a fantastic day, Commander. If you need anything, and Theo's going to pull out a card and hand it to him as he walks out the door.
So as you walk through, you're like navigating these hallways, and you see,
Oh, Theo's been here. He knows
Yeah.
the way.
you know the way, and you see like some of the light guard like give you the stink eye. Some other light guard are like, oh shit, why is Theo here? What
Theo
happened?
will spin on his heel, though. Previously stated, Lau, good. Hardy, on the other hand, he does have a civil complaint coming his way for his misconduct in the field. And Theo makes sure as many Light Guard members can hear that as possible.
So you're headed back towards, really you're navigating towards the front entrance.
Yeah, yep.
And funny, as you're exiting the building, who rolls up in a squad car but Kit Pfeiffer? Oh, serendipitous.
Hey,
One of the
What
people
you
I needed to
doing?
see.
what you doing? I kind of showed up at your house to find fucking everyone.
Remember that conversation we had when we first met about keeping conversations in private and not in public? It's just one of those moments.
We're in front of the police station.
Correct. And we have a vehicle on our way to pick us up here in a moment.
What I meant to say is, it's not like everyone inside doesn't know what's already happened.
Oh, and Theo realizes he picks up his phone. Syrkon will be there shortly.
Hello, Kit. And then hangs up the phone.
She middle fingers the phone.
I'm not asking.
Oh, you can. I'll gladly tell you.
I don't want to ask.
Are you sure? Are you sure? I got some valuable information for you.
I'm sure you do, but again, we will have this conversation in a private setting.
At that
Cool.
point, this large black vehicle rolls up to the front. And in front of the Citadel, there's kind of a line of cars, and so it just pulls up and stops traffic. And the window rolls down, and you see Torek hanging out the side. And Torek, for context, for those just tuning in, Denton and Torek were two of the individuals that rolled up upon Theo's call last episode that now he knows has his back. So he's cashing in on their loyalty.
Theo is going to open the door for Kit to get in the back seat.
A kid's gonna hop in. I feel like I've sat in a lot of cars today.
Theo's going to close the door and then get in on the other side.
The driver's going to turn around, look at Theo, look at you, Kit. I'm Denton. What's up? And Torek's going to turn. That's my brother. I'm Torek. Where are we going, Theo?
We need to go to Syrkon's.
Who's Syrkon?
Yeah, and I'm going to just give them an address.
That's a language I can speak.
We're going to his house.
You two will now be at my hip at all times, more or less driving for the public standard, but if I need you for extracurriculars, you will be our muscle for the time being. We've got Quinn, Planer, and Loria on the call as well if needed.
We love extra credit, don't we, bro? And they bump knuckles and start.
Guys,
Theo's gonna lean to Kit. They're idiots, but they're hell of a shot.
I mean, some people get pretty, some people shoot.
And they are
well,
absolutely gorgeous. They are the prettiest people.
Like very well dressed.
Mm.
Both, they almost look like twins, but just slightly different. Like short blonde hair, kind of slicked back, jawlines that could cut glass.
Some bros.
They're so hot right now.
So,
They're bros. Whoa. All right. Well, it's your payroll, not mine.
Payroll indeed.
and so they take off. A few minutes later, you're not far from where, like I said, you pass the seat of the Shining Sun on the way to the Citadel. So maybe like a 10-minute drive through traffic around, you roll up to this too nice of house. This is the spot, Theo.
Yep, need you guys to stand guard. Give me a call if anybody tries making their way in.
Got it. We'll keep you posted.
Theo's going to make his way to Syrkon's front door.
Syrkon meets them at the door. Has the door open as you're walking up the stairs.
Kit's dragging her feet. like Theo's here and she's like slowly walking behind. Like this is
I'm coming.
exactly.
Should I expect all of the Maxwell militia?
They will be standing guard at the moment.
Wonderful. Make yourself at home.
Theo just graciously walks in, completely ignoring the fact he's aware that these two have a problem. Theo doesn't care at the moment.
I stand there holding the door until Kit walks past me inside. I'm just holding the door open for her.
Yeah, and she's gonna look at him. Smells like your buns are done.
If you like, he's been looking at you, and when you do that, he downcasts his eyes and averts his gaze from you.
I'm sorry, I didn't bring my dad.
Theo turns on that one.
Uh-huh.
I told you there was information, but
I
we
wasn't
needed to get to
interested.
a private setting.
Syrkon closes the door now. So it's just the three of us.
I just
And
realized Theo is currently wearing clothes with a bullet hole in the middle of the shoulder.
Oh,
You guys are both dirty as shit, and I am showered, cleanly shaved. I look great.
Yeah, there's dried blood on your clothes to mention, but you'll find you're not bleeding anymore. You're
Okay.
basically 100% fine.
Does that mean I
put a-
remove this?
Yes, you removed your
okay.
physical stress. I should have told you that when the EMT was dealing with you.
Before either of them sit on my furniture, I put down a blanket. Because they're both so filthy.
I'm
Okay.
not filthy.
Well,
In
I get- yeah, I
Theo's
guess
covered
not.
in shards of glass.
yes, true. Theo is disgusting. I was just thinking we were in a dungy underground place all night. I feel like I took a shower because I felt grimy.
Oh, I thought it was the complete opposite. All I saw was white.
Yeah,
Ah.
I
Crispy
pictured
white
like
on the-
science lab type shit.
Krista.
Oh, I was thinking like underground bunker, like concrete.
Yeah, I was thinking like survival
Tunnels.
bunker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's theater of the
Oh.
mind for
like
you, folks.
Right.
utility tunnels. Yeah,
I was
but
thinking like white, crispy, like
whatever y'all want to picture.
yeah.
It's your story. I'm just living in it.
All right, well,
We
he only
have-
puts a towel down for Theo.
We clearly have some topics of conversation to cover, and I genuinely not sure who needs to start.
I will. We found my dad.
Theo immediately starts looking for a drink cart.
Syrkon goes and makes a drink and brings it to Theo.
So, remember how you told me to go with Syrkon?
Yes.
Okay, well, Syrkon actively threatened Vox, Leona's
Fantastic.
friend.
Greatly
to the point-
appreciated.
You're
Theo
welcome.
winks at Syrkon.
to the point where we were taken to the Night of Axiom's underground bunker, where just so happened my father was. But except he wasn't my father when we got there. He was Leonold.
Would Theo have
And,
heard talks of a Leonold at all?
Never.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm not
And,
even making real connections for that one.
No, that's fair.
There's never
Okay.
would have heard that name. They chose like the weirdest name ever just to make sure that it.
And now he's my dad again.
Well, I don't think he stopped being your dad.
Okay. He lost his memory. Thought he was someone else.
Genetically speaking, that doesn't change.
Oh my God, Theo. Do you want the information or not?
Don't know, to be honest.
Okay.
Trust
I'll stop
me,
by
you'll want to hear this.
So now he's my dad again. He remembers he's my dad again. There we go. Remembers he's my
It's
dad
important
again.
in a court of law.
And then Syrkon over here wanted to use my dad as bait.
For
Kieran.
that would actually be very helpful for a conversation.
Are you fucking kidding me?
He's a
How
Don't
would
use
you-
it my way?
How would you like if I used Leona as bait for Kieran Gold?
I
First
also
of all, it's
planned on
Leona.
using Liana as bait.
I fucking hate it here. I came here.
This place is a
'Cause I
little
thought-
uncomfortable, isn't
Hate
it?
it here.
I came here
Why
because
is
I
everything
thought,
so sharp?
oh my god, it's like talking to children. Kid's gonna get up and find the bathroom. She's not gonna even ask. She's just gonna go look for the bathroom.
And it is like the fanciest bathroom you've ever seen in your whole life. It's so
And she's
fancy.
gonna
and
make-
beautiful.
gold
She's
bidet.
going to make sure
Right.
she like wipes her nasty face on your really nice towel too.
Perfect.
And she's
Outstanding.
like, this pretentious prick, and she's gonna like, maybe like sneeze in it a little, and then hang it back up on the rack. Not nicely. She's just gonna ball it up and like lay it on like the thing. Maybe flush the toilet a couple
It's-
times.
It's while she's out of the room that Syrkon tells Theo, I experimented with a new form of X. It enhanced something in me, but
There's
let's
not
just
a
say
single
it,
personality of yours that needs enhanced, sir.
let's just say it removed my restraint.
Theo immediately finds something to like palm a weapon.
The girl has every right to be afraid. I genuinely crossed a line. I asked for trust, and then I abused it. That is on me.
I think Kit's gonna come out at the end of this. So, considering that everyone else has to pay for their sins, should you?
God willing, someday.
She's gonna sit back down. So, blood, bullet hole. Light guard in front of your house. Anything you have to tell us, Theo? Or am I gonna have to pry it out of you?
We're actually gonna need to go back prior to that, to be honest.
I believe you had something to do with the deceased gold.
I did not do anything to the deceased gold.
I'm guessing that's does it have to do with Waylon?
That's hearsay. There is no
Okay.
evidence that could show that myself or Wayland is responsible for this gold family members.
There are no
No problem.
recording devices in my home, and it is soundproof.
I don't know if I believe either of those things, Syrkon.
Pinky promise.
If that's the case.
Trust has to be earned.
Theo
doesn't it?
100% trusts a pinky
Oh,
promise from Syrkon.
Fuck. He heard Thea. He doesn't turn to Kit when she says that, but he reacts.
And what about this archluminary? Is that hearsay as well?
If you want us to be effective, I need you to be candid, Theo. Please tell us.
What am I
Well-
gonna do? Run around and tell people? Because they're gonna believe me.
I'll slap you with a slander suit if that is the case. The death of Ren Jensen was finalized.
Now you didn't know
The
he was
death.
dead. Yeah. You just heard something happened. You didn't.
Interesting.
You only heard what the news told you, which they
Mhm.
haven't shared everything. Okay.
Theo trusts the two of them. It's fine.
Yeah.
if we are going to operate together for the foreseeable future, we are going to need to be blatantly candid with each other and all be on the same page for what is to come. I
have something candid to say. I hate Syrkon.
Yeah, he's not a very likable guy.
No, legit. I hate Syrkon. And the fact that I'm in this room with him right now speaks volumes to how much I trust you and not him. It's why I came and found you first.
It looks like we're going to be trusting by bipartisan, because in this circumstance, Syrkon's the one individual I can trust for what is to come.
Well, then maybe I shouldn't be a part of this.
You were never meant for this life to begin with.
We can't let her go until we retrieve her grandmother. We owe her that much.
I agree, which leads me into the next portion of conversation we were about to have. After, what was the gold son's name?
Alden.
After Alden was killed, I may or may not have had Don Cucci send flowers to Kieran.
Funny. His bouquets are pretty nice.
Their Cucci bouquets are fantastic.
They're pusillanimous.
I need a hoodie with that. Just like a beautifully drawn flower bouquet, pusillanimous bouquet.
But also in that same evening, I may or may not have orchestrated the downfall of another arch luminary to put a trusted individual in place instead. Which then leads us to this morning. Kieran sent an assassination attempt on me, and in turn, I killed 2 Sigurd's Reach members. Which leads a conversation that you and I need to have, Syrkon. Our familiar ties go back fairly far, and I need you to understand that I will be killing Kieran Gold, and I will be taking his place.
Lovely.
His reign has gone on too long, and the innocent cannot keep being punished for this. It's time for a dethroning. And you can either join me or we can part ways. But regardless, those are my cards on the table.
Promise me one thing. You will do your absolute best to make sure Kieran sees my chair before we're done.
You can deal the final blow. I simply need to be present.
Then we're agreed.
And Theo's going to offer out his hand.
Syrkon shakes it.
Okay.
She just nods. What is there for her to?
Puts her hand on top. And game on 3.
Syrkon turns and holds his hand out to Kit.
I don't know if I'd push your luck, Syrkon. But Kit, we do need to have a conversation here. War
I thought
is
that's
coming.
what we were doing. I thought that's what we were doing.
We need to have a conversation of whether you were going to be involved or taking your expected leave here. Because this is not a life that you can dabble in. It is either all or nothing. There's no 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Well, the information that I found from my father today leads me to that it is only in my blood to be a rebel.
Syrkon smiles.
And it's at that moment, Theo, your phone buzzes twice.
Is it a text or a phone call?
It's a text.
From?
There's 2 texts. They both kind of have a similar message. One is, can't wait to see you tonight. We have much to
Is it
discuss.
Thursday?
The other is 7 o'clock. Don't be fucking late. From Molly and Retta Cawthon. It's Thursday, baby!
So that means next episode there's Bozer and I just flirting with each other.
You know, because you can just have a normal date with a price on your head, with some fugitives, with... Mhm.
Be totes normal.
Sounds like someone's running out Don Coochie's for the evening.
And then we're going to end right there. Because that was just too much.
Woo! Hey, we're back together.
We're back together!
We did it.
Except for Waylon.
Well, Waylon
For
will find
Waylon
us.
and all. Alvin, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Al will find us when he's ready.
Yeah, that might be a minute. Before we
Yeah.
find it.
Listen, my goal today was to get the people back together.
We did the thing.
Why do you think I actively was like, we need to go see Theo?
I'm also
I
very
was trying
excited
hard not to metagame.
that
It
is
Bozer
hard
never read Theo
sometimes.
his rights.
Who never read Theo his rights?
Bozer.
I'm not a real cop. I don't know how this works. But can we
okay.
talk about that flashback?
Was this discussed, or did he just make an executive decision on Nan's backstory?
No, we talked about it.
We
Okay.
talked about Well,
Long
we
time
established that she'd been.
I knew she had a record for B&E, not fucking Russian roulette with involuntary individuals.
Jeez.
Technically, there wasn't any Russian roulette. The gun wasn't loaded.
They did. That's hearsay.
It just jammed at the appropriate moment, and she had an extra bullet in her hand.
And then just happened to have an extra bullet in her hand.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
So that established that you've met Nan before.
Yeah, that was why the record scratch moment happened with Nan, and his fascination with her was there was something about her, and it's, all like ever since he was a kid there was this mysterious run-in with base guardian made of fire and fury. and now it's seeing Kit in that vulnerable light that he was in, getting that same kind of help, brought it all back.
I don't know if I want them to be love interests at one point in time, or if I...
What, Syrkon and Nan?
Yes.
She's I mean, she's almost 20 years older than he is. I mean, not
That's
to
fine.
age shame anybody, but
Right.
Just looking for a sugar mama.
Kit
Well,
will-
y'all,
Because if I find out Syrkon and Kid are related, oh.
no. Fate point?
I will
What?
leave this campaign.
I will use I will use all my fate points to use whatever fucking genetic crossover I need to make happen.
We're
we
gonna
should
back that episode. It's fine.
like a year from now we do a Thanksgiving episode where Syrkon and Nan show up together for family dinner, and then he introduces himself as her new grandpa. I walk around calling Tobias son.
Well, then I
I've
guess
never
it's only
wanted
fair that I
something
call you
more.
Grandpappy.
Grandpappy.
Grandpappy Syrkon.
Please.
Syrkon.
Well, y'all,
Just
thank
call
you
me Paps.
so much for joining us for today's episode of Cloudscape. Make sure you tune in next Thursday for a brand new episode. And we also have Monday Night Geek Out sessions where we're geeking out with brand new geek guests. Hey, Josh had one a couple weeks ago
I did.
with Dairy Public Radio, so you can learn more about all the Stephen King goodness that he's doing. And we have an ongoing collaboration with Let's Get Rollin'. With the RPG project. So if you want to learn more about indie RPGs or ones that aren't D&D, because it's not the only one, people, then tune in once a month for a brand new one of those. And then every Wednesday, T, you're just hanging out, vibing, doing whatever makes the dopamine.
Yeah, T's rebuilding a fucking video game right now, so
Because T lost
we
it
have
in a
lots of
hard
faith
drive
in you.
crash.
We have lots of faith in you. Sometimes
don't.
starting
All
over
the
makes a better product.
Makes
Or
you
it makes
pissed,
you
but
not want to do it.
but until next time, I am Bozer,
I'm Josh.
I'm Britt.
I'm T.
and you just keep
Geeking out.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mwah.